This week was the official, long-awaited other shoe dropping. After the cancellation of most of the Marvel Netflix collaboration shows in, what, November? When was that?
Roughly.
Last fall?
Yeah, November, December.
We got the last two pieces fell down on Monday when they announced that Punisher, which has already completed, and Jessica Jones, which has one season left to go, are both canceled.
I feel the same way.
At Netflix.
You choked up about it.
I can't say it out loud.
It's not real if you don't say it.
Right.
Yeah, they're gone. They're done.
It was inevitable. We knew it was coming, but inevitability doesn't make anything any easier to handle. Like, there are a lot of inevitable. See, I can't deal with it either. There are so many inevitabilities in life.
You talk so fast, and that word requires you to say it slow.
There's too many syllables. Inevitabilities in life. But I really struggle with the idea that we won't ever get another new episode of Charlie Cox as Daredevil, of John Bernthal as Punisher. We're getting more Jessica Jones because they canceled it before it aired.
But here's the thing: I think we have to keep an open mind about. We're not getting them on Netflix. The possibility of them going to Hulu, because now Disney will be majority owner of Hulu, because they won't put an R-rated content show on Disney Plus, is still an option.
So that's been much discussed, and I'm glad you brought it up, because it is something that there's been a lot of, like, Variety reported that they had to wait 2 years to use the character somewhere else. There's been different, we don't know exactly what the deals and the terms are. And my thing is that we know that these characters will have a future, and that's what I got out of Jeff Loeb's lovely letter on Marvel.com, where he said, you know Marvel better than that, and that's because there's always, like, Daredevil's not going anywhere as a character.
I think I know where you're going.
My thing is that, like, it's not easy to put back together a crew, to put back together showrunners, to, like, everyone's moving on to other jobs. Mike Coulter just picked up some pilot. Like, we don't know. The future's so uncertain. Production is so difficult. We don't know that we can just pick up where we left off. So that's why I'm doing my morning now.
Well, I agree with that. I can't disagree with that. It's the opportunity is there, and the actors who play all of these heroes are still open to come back if the opportunity presents itself. Yes, Mike Coulter just took a new pilot, but that doesn't mean in 2020, which is next year.
Oh my God.
See, and that was one of the biggest things I think people forgot when they heard last year about Iron Fist being canceled, Daredevil being canceled, and Luke Cage. They were like, oh man, they won't get these shows to 2020. We found out the news in November.
My concern is and I'm rarely cynical, Hulu and Netflix are each other's largest competitor as of now.
Yes.
Why would Hulu hire Charlie Cox to play Daredevil if that would send the competitors money for the first 3 seasons to rewatch?
Also,
it's going to send people to Netflix if you want to know what's going on. If they're starting a season 4, why would they be like, here's our competitor's show?
And they would by necessity need to make sure it was a starting point for anyone who might just be discovering.
But also, you're talking about Hulu, who has Runaways that is doing successful.
Sure.
They show reruns of The Gifted, which is successful. So it only would make sense for Hulu to accept more Marvel properties. And now it is a win. I get what you're saying about sending people over to Netflix to see the first 3 seasons, but it's a win now to have it, instead of being Netflix and Marvels, it's Hulu and Marvels. You know, so it's a win-win. It is interesting to see what happens with this all the while. You know, but we know for a fact no other Defenders miniseries is coming because of how they epically failed the first one. Yeah, as much as you don't want to admit it, it was a fail. I hate to say it, you had Sigourney Weaver. I would have
shown up for more.
And you had Sigourney Weaver, who could have been the greatest villain you could have used, and you did not utilize it right.
What I'm worried about is kind of to what you were saying. It wasn't just the actors that I loved. It was the showrunners. It was the writers. These scripts were written out
Derek
for...
Cook is a buddy of mine. Shouts out, Cheo. What's up, bro?
Like, these things were written to be...
So do you have an inside line? Is he down? Is he coming back? What can you tell us?
Shouts out, Cheo. What's happening, homie?
So I heard these were written to be 5-season arcs. I heard these were written, they were planned for 5 seasons, and Luke Cage had storyboards up. Like, Charlie Cox was ready to be Daredevil to the point where they had scripts written. 2 of these shows were very far in development in their next season, and most of them had 5 years planned. So I can't imagine that another network can wait 2 years and pick up the slack with the showrunners, with the writers, with, like, you know, Charlie Brewster.
It surprises me if they could even legally use material developed for another network. I'm sure they could work it out. Money solves a number of problems, but like, it just sounds really complicated to me.
And it feels like I'm doing what you're doing in morning now, but much like comic book characters, all of these characters have died. so they can all come back. Like, it's totally an option. And if it means we get a new set of Daredevil shows, like, that's not what I want, but I'm there for it because I love the character. But I really appreciate what Charlie Cox did with the character, what Chris Brewster did with stunts, what the showrunners did. I loved those elements, and I don't know if we'll ever get that again because they were so bold, they were inventive, they were creative in ways I didn't know they'd take those chances on this type of show. They were darker in ways I didn't expect. The shows were all a risk, and most of the risks landed. I don't know if another network might do that.